Ever since my English teacher assigned my class to read To Kill a Mockingbird, I fell in love with literature. It's so cool that words written so long ago can still impact and move people today. So today I'm going to tell you about my favorite literary work, Gone with the Wind. I'll tell you about the author, the setting and historical background, and the plot of the book. Gone with the Wind was written by Margaret Mitchell, an Atlanta native, in 1936 out of pure boredom. Margaret had always liked to write and had done so since she was a child. In high school, she had even written plays. While in college, Margaret's mother died of influenza. She finished that year of school, then returned home for the debutante season. While at home, she married a man named Baron Kennard Upshaw. The marriage only lasted 4 months. Mr. Upshaw left and never returned. The next couple of years were good to Margaret. She remarried and got a job at the Atlanta Journal, where she wrote nearly 130 articles. At the age of 26, Margaret sprained her ankle and could not get around very well. Due to complications from her injury, she lost her job, so she decided to write a novel. Interestingly, she wrote the last chapter first and the other chapters randomly. Shockingly, she became an instant celebrity and won the Pulitzer Prize. In 1949, Margaret was struck by a car while crossing the street. She died 5 days later. Gone with the Wind was the only novel she ever wrote. The Pulitzer Prize-winning novel was set during the 1860s and 1870s in Atlanta, Georgia. It takes the reader through the beginning of the Civil War and through the Reconstruction of the South. The setting begins with beautiful landscape and white, sprawling plantation homes. It quickly changes to burnt homes and smoldering ruins as the Civil War rages. The setting seems accurate of those times, but is Gone with the Wind historically accurate? Some critics believe it is a romanticized version of the Old South. It was even considered racist by some critics. Margaret Mitchell seemed to turn away from the harsher realities of the years in the South. It seems the dates, times, and the places and battles are certainly accurate. What may not be quite as accurate is her depiction of people, both plantation owners and the slaves. According to www.georgiaencyclopedia.org, Gone with the Wind is powerful, flawed, uneven, and sometimes a disturbing novel that explores diverse facets of the human experience. However, historically accurate or inaccurate, it would be hard to argue that Gone with the Wind is one very interesting story. The heroine, Scarlett O'Hara, was a spoiled rich brat that most readers loved, even if they didn't want to. The story centers around Scarlett and her chaotic relationship with the male lead, Rhett Butler. In the story, Scarlett must scheme and fight to protect her beloved plantation, Tara, and her fortune from the Union troops. Scarlett struggles to restore her home and her life by plotting her way through business, love, and even a few marriages. The story follows Scarlett through all of her many trials, and the book ends with the question as to whether Scarlett and Rhett continue their extremely complicated love story. Although there were many conflicting opinions with this book, I found it to be one of the best I have ever read. This work of literature has influenced and continues to influence people today. Literature has a major impact on society and the way that we view it. Gone with the Wind was the best-selling novel of the 20th century, despite the fact that it was not well received in the literary community. I hope I made clear how interesting and incredible literature can be, and I hope you've learned that just because your teacher assigns it doesn't mean it's boring.